President Trump's recent executive order has thrown a wrench in the plans of around 10,000 refugees who were set to start new lives in the United States. According to a memo from the State Department, all previously scheduled travel for these refugees has been abruptly canceled, and no new travel bookings will be made. These refugees come from countries like Afghanistan, Syria, Venezuela, and more. Many of them have been through a rigorous, years-long process to get to this point, only to find their flights grounded indefinitely. The memo also indicates that all refugee case processing has been suspended. This means that not only are flights canceled, but the entire refugee program is effectively on hold. Refugees with medical exams or security checks nearing expiration are now in a particularly precarious position. One notable exception to this suspension are holders of special immigrant visas. These individuals who have worked for the U.S. overseas can still travel to the U.S. Refugee advocates and Democratic lawmakers are raising the alarm. Critics argue that this move is not only inhumane, but also undermines U.S. leadership in global humanitarian efforts. Especially affected are Afghan allies who assisted U.S. forces during the conflict and now face severe threats in their home country. The Trump administration justifies this executive order by pointing to national security and public safety concerns. They argue that the U.S. lacks the capacity to absorb a large influx of migrants and needs time to conduct thorough reviews and strengthen vetting procedures. This action is part of the administration's broader immigration agenda, which emphasizes stricter border control measures and a reduction in overall immigration levels. The suspension has left many Afghan refugees stranded in third-party countries like Pakistan and Qatar, with no clear path to the U.S. A government official mentioned that these individuals are essentially stuck in U.S.-managed sites, with an uncertain future. In Doha alone, there are more than 1,000 Afghan refugees and up to 10,000 in Pakistan. Their cases are now halted, leaving them in limbo. Refugees will be taken off flight manifests out of Afghanistan, leaving many who expected to leave soon, now facing an indefinite wait. This suspension puts tens of thousands of Afghan refugees, including those who aided the U.S. during the war but haven't received SIV status, at significant risk. The group #AfghaniVac, which advocates for the safety of Afghans who supported U.S. missions, warns that this move endangers many lives. President Trump's executive order states that the U.S. is unable to absorb the recent influx of migrants and refugees following the suspension. While the order is set to take effect on January 27th, its impact is already being felt immediately. This situation is separate from issues at the U.S. southern border, but it aligns with the administration's focus on public safety and national security. Under former President Biden, the cap on refugee admissions was set at 125,000 people a year, a stark contrast to the current administration's standards. This is a developing story, and its full impact on the affected refugees and U.S. policy will unfold in the coming months.